Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about why it's not working to get into harmonious union with your twin flame on your own. And I'm Lisi, and I'm a coach, and I've been working with twin flames for 7 years. And so this isn't some sort of shameless plug for my coaching services, though if you want to explore that, you can look in the description box. But I'm here to help you and give you some sense, some clarity about why it's not shifting. So I'm going to explain this in 3 different archetypes. So stay tuned and see if you are relating to one or all of these 3 archetypes. So the first archetype is the avoider. The avoider is someone who just kind of sits and waits and just kind of hopes that things will magically change. They're the type of people that say like, oh, in divine timing, this will resolve, or I'm just going to wait for God to say that we're ready, or we just need to spend time apart and just heal. And you just find yourself like waiting and waiting and waiting forever. So why do I call this one the avoider? And that's because sitting and waiting, or being in a posture of like kind of waiting for divine timing, is putting your source outside of you. It's like saying that you're dependent on something happening at a later date in time, where you know, if you follow the law of attraction, that it's not out there at a different time. So the avoider is also going to be pointing the finger at their twin flame and saying things like, oh, they need to shape up, they need to heal, they need to get out of this karmic situation. And so don't worry if you find yourself having some traits of an avoider. That's okay. There is a way out. There's a way to heal. There's no shame in it. Being an avoider is probably the most common of the archetypes that are preventing you from getting into union on your own. So the main element of an avoider is that you're avoiding looking at yourself and your patterns, and the fact that maybe the reason that you're not with your person is because of something you're doing or thinking or believing. Maybe it doesn't have to do with someone else, and maybe it's not a function of time, because it matters what you do in that time. You can't just sit there and not do anything, or just take a bunch of bubble baths, or do a bunch of self-care on the external, although none of that is bad. I mean, I highly recommend self-care. But to heal your wounds that are keeping you separate with your twin flame, something else is going on. So the second archetype is the my way or the highway archetype. And these are people who kind of know that your twin flame is showing you something, like your twin flame is a reflection of you. And so these type of my way or the highway people are aware that there's something going on within themselves. But where the my way or the highway comes in is when these archetypes think that they know how to resolve it and don't need to shift their mindset into a different thought paradigm, because it's not in their thought paradigm already. I'll give you an example. So like people that are overweight or whatever, I'm not criticizing people that are overweight. I have some work to do in that area. But if you're overweight, but you're eating a bunch of cookies, and you're like, I eat cookies like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus like 3 full meals, but I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I need to lose weight. It must be something I'm doing. And like, you have a friend that's like, maybe you should like reduce the number of cookies that you're eating. Oh, no, it can't be that. I'm going to try this juice cleanse. And then you do a juice cleanse, but you don't look at the cookies that you're eating, and the weight still doesn't come off, right? So it's kind of like you're trying to make a change without making a change, without making the change that needs to be made in your life. And with twin flames, how this looks is like, maybe you're like, okay, I know I need to work on myself, and you're presented with a solution that works for so many people, but then you're like, no, I'm just going to meditate, or, I'm just going to like go on a girls trip and, focus on myself like that, like that's great. Go on your girls trip, but you're missing something, right? You can eat cookies, but you got to figure out where you're eating, where your calories are in deficit. And if you think that by not making big changes in your life that you're going to move forward. That's just not true. If you want to change, you have to change. You have to change. So like the biggest block for people that are my way or the highway is like they don't want to change, and they have to ask themselves like why is that? So I really like analogies, and I think like if we're talking about health and fitness, it's hard to make some changes because you're getting something from staying the same. You're receiving like what we call a secondary benefit from staying the same. Like a cookie eater is getting a moment of pleasure when they eat the cookies, right? Somebody who is like doing meditation or prayer or whatever, that's not bad, but that's not gonna that doesn't address twin flame blocks. It doesn't help you heal from what your twin flame is showing you. You need specific tools designed for twin flames to get out of separation, right? I'm going to tell you that. And those people who are my way or the highway are like, well, yeah, but I like my therapist. And I'm not dissing therapy, right? Therapy's got its place, and it can be really useful when dealing with patterns, emotions, things like that. But that in itself is not going to help you heal from what your twin flame is showing you, because only tools specific for twin flames can help you to go to those places and resolve them inside of yourself. So if you're a my way or the highway person and you're digging your heels in, you want to look at why. You're not going to shame yourself or make yourself into a villain for being like that. But usually the reason why people don't like change is because they're afraid, right? And there's an innocence about fear, like, it's just a fear, but you want to resolve that fear because ultimately you want to be in your harmonious union with your ultimate lover, living side by side, right? You want to be with that person and not be separate from them, because when you're in harmony with them, not when you're in disharmony with them, but when you learn what they're showing you and how to resolve it, it gets easier. And it may sound scary because it's a new thing. But if you imagine, when you were like a baby, little baby learning how to walk for the first time, it was scary for the baby, but the baby did it, right? So don't forget that you have the capacity to change and that you have the capacity to learn something new. Okay, so the third archetype, which is why you are not moving forward on your own into harmonious union. And this is more about focusing on the on your own piece. It's the I got this archetype. It's like, oh no, I got this. I'm good, right? And so this archetype maybe knows that sitting on your bum and not doing anything and waiting for divine timing is not going to work. So they're not an avoider. They know that something within them needs to shift, and they know that the tools and resources that are out there that aren't specific to twin flames, that those aren't going to work either. And so they know that there's tools and resources available for twin flames to heal the blocks that are within, that are projected out and causing separation. But the I got this people try it all on their own. And I think like there's something to be said about, you need to be responsible for your inner work. You need to be responsible for following the path. Like no one can put your feet down and walk the path for you. But the I got this people are kind of jumping the gun a little bit. It's a sort of, I don't know another word, but I'm going to say it, arrogance. It's like thinking that you can become a black belt karate person, practitioner, without a teacher, without somebody guiding you and showing you how to do things. You can watch karate videos on YouTube. You can watch yoga videos on YouTube and start doing the positions. But the thing is that you can't see the forest for the trees sometimes when it comes to your own consciousness. And so if you are trying something called the mirror exercises, which is what I practice with my clients, and you're finding that you're stuck and you're not moving forward, or you're trying the mirror exercise and maybe you learned it from a YouTube video, and or like a person who is just like a lay person that's also practicing it, that doesn't really understand how to guide your consciousness through it, then you are going to get stuck. You are going to come to a point where you can't go further. You can't go deeper with it. And I see this a lot, actually. It's very, very common where people, they get like the free samples, like the YouTube videos, or the, I don't know, the blogs, or maybe they talk to a friend who is in a spiritual school, for example, Twin Flame Ascension School, and that friend gives them secondhand information, and then they're like, oh, I got this, I'm gonna try it on my own, and then they end up getting stuck, and then they wonder, oh, well, maybe this doesn't work. Well, because it's not designed to work on its own. It is a spiritual practice that you really need a professional to guide you through. And yeah, it's a not so shameless plug for my coaching services, but here's the part where I'm going to tell you, this isn't really about trying to get you to work with me, because I don't care who you work with. I just want you to work with someone that knows how to guide you on your journey, that is a seasoned professional coach for Twin Flames. And I am such. So if you resonate with me, I want to help you, but I want you to know that like maybe, you know, you've been in sample land for a long time, and you've been trying and trying, but it's not going anywhere. And I think in the back of your mind, you might know that you need to take another step and have actual support. So I'm going to tell you what I do and what I receive too, because I have my own coach. I help you to go through the mirror exercise, which you should be doing on your own anyway, but I help you see exactly where you're getting stuck and how to adjust, right? So I give you an adjustment in your practice and point out maybe some thought patterns that you didn't know that you have, right? You can't see the back of your head. And sometimes you don't know what you're really stuck with until you are presented a mirror, or someone can see where you're getting stuck because they have more experience than you. And I also have a lot of experience with coaching Twin Flames. I went through a rigorous training program to do so, because when you're walking through someone's consciousness and their limiting beliefs, it's a very personal space. It's a very delicate process, because, you know, you're dealing with like decades, if not millennia, if you believe in past lives, of thinking a certain way. And there's a lot of like sensitivity around these places. And so you want to really build a relationship with your coach or with a guide that's going to help you to go to these sensitive places where you maybe have never accessed before. And it's those particular places that you need to go to unlock them to go to the next level. And so if you resonate with me, I want to encourage you to book a first session with me. It's called a Twin Flame Breakthrough Session. It's a brand new thing that I'm offering, and you can find that at my website, twinflamesheartsdesire.com. There's no pressure to do that. You can still watch my YouTube videos, but I just have to be honest with everybody that I want you to succeed with your twin flame, and I know that working with a professional coach can and will help you, and that's what I'm here for. So if you're just on the fence and you needed some sort of sign to take your next step, book that session with me, and I have lots of options for you. We're gonna really go deep and see what's going on with your healing process, and I'll give you your next step. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for